After defeating the dungeon boss, Eugene found himself at a celebratory party. Amid the noise and laughter, he quietly focused on the new ability he had gained from the Spider Lord's mana crystal, camouflage. Combined with his first ability, skin reinforcement, it allowed him to replicate human skin over his hardened body. For the first time he could stand under sunlight without harm. A troublesome weakness, reduced. As he thought, a group of noble women approached him, pulling him into the celebration. They complimented his appearance and wondered why he had hidden such a handsome face for so long. Others praised him for defeating the Spider Lord alone. Miriam floated nearby, laughing at the attention he was receiving. One woman asked if he had elven blood in his lineage. Hearing this, Sir Galfredic joined in. "That must be it," he said. "Your sharp vision in the dark, your keen hearing, your agility, and that monstrous strength. You're clearly not an ordinary human." He looked at Eugene curiously. "How did you manage to hide yourself all this time?" Eugene simply nodded. "I never really tried to hide." The calm, emotionless reply only impressed them more. Eugene thought to himself, so this is what it means to see what you want to see. From now on, if suspicion arose, he could simply claim elven ancestry. But something else lingered in his mind. This time, the mana crystal had given him more than just an ability. As one of the marks on his body disappeared, unfamiliar memories surfaced. He saw himself, just as he was now, lying in an unknown place. A soft hand held his. A bell echoed. People were watching him. Who was that woman? And are those memories even mine? He had no past, only his name. Eugene. Yet now a possibility emerged. If I remove these marks one by one, I might uncover the truth. Not lies about being a knight. Not excuses about elven blood. But who he truly was. The scene shifted to the chamber of the Lord of House Twin, lying on his deathbed. He praised the successful dungeon subjugation. Galfredic stepped forward and introduced himself formally. Eugene followed suit. "I am Jan, eldest son of the Eugene family." The Lord then handed Eugene a document. A certificate recognizing his status. Exactly what Eugene had been seeking. "I am grateful," Eugene said. Moments later, the Lord coughed weakly. With his final breath, he spoke to Kamara. "Your brother's ambitions weigh heavily on my mind. I cannot rest in peace." Kamara reassured him. "I will protect this domain properly." But the Lord shook his head faintly. "A domain is nothing but dust and earth. A true Lord must protect his people, not his land." With those words, he passed away. The room filled with grief. Yet outside not everyone mourned. Bertel clenched his teeth, furious. His plans had failed. At the castle gates, Galfredic prepared to leave. "I regret missing the funeral," he said. "But I have duties to attend to." He turned to Eugene. "Will you stay?" "I plan to enter the dungeon once more," Eugene replied. Galfredic smiled and extended his hand. "It was an honor crossing swords with you." Eugene shook it. After that, Galfredic departed. Later Eugene spoke with Pardik. "We'll prepare to leave as well," Pardik said. "We should purchase a horse. Knights are expected to ride one." Felix, now eager, stepped forward. "As your retainer, I'll do everything I can to assist you, Sir Eugene." Eugene's expression turned cold. "I won't need your assistance for now." Felix froze. "What do you mean?" Soon after, Felix was no longer by Eugene's side. Instead, he found himself working at a port, far away, in the kingdom of Kaler's greatest city, the city of Marin. In the city, Laban proudly displayed the dungeon byproducts. There was a massive quantity, far more than anyone expected. "All of this," he said, "was brought in by a single knight, Sir Jan Eugene." The crowd gathered quickly, curious and excited. Word had already spread about the recent dungeon subjugation in the Twin territory, and now rumors were circulating throughout the entire city. Felix, who was working nearby, overheard the chatter. "Sir Eugene is still inside the trading company? It's taking longer than expected." Inside the Palian Trading Company, a man named Wilmore introduced himself. "I am Wilmore of the Palian Trading Company," he said proudly. "We will personally handle your goods. Our company is one of the finest in Marin." Eugene listened silently. So this is the good trading company Pardik mentioned. For someone unfamiliar with human networks, this could be useful. Just as Wilmore continued speaking, the door suddenly burst open. A man walked in arrogantly. "Which one of you is Sir Eugene?" Eugene didn't respond, he only looked at him. Pardik leaned in slightly. "Sir Eugene, this might get awkward." "Why?" Eugene asked. "That man," Pardik whispered, is a secretary to the deputy manager of this company. In simple terms, he has more authority than Wilmore. Eugene remained calm. And? He's likely here to take your goods at a lower price, Pardick explained. If you want a stable trade partner, you need to be careful. Wilmore quickly stepped forward. Sir Grail, Sir Eugene is already in exclusive negotiations with me. Step aside, Wilmore, Grail interrupted coldly. Don't challenge someone you can't beat. There's no signed contract, is there? He turned to Eugene. There's quite a buzz about you in the harbor, he said. A knight who tore off a troll's head with his bare hands, and brought back a mountain of dungeon materials. Probably exaggerated rumors, he thought inwardly. A rookie trying to inflate his value. The deputy manager wishes to deal with you personally, Grail continued. So leave this shabby place and come with me. Inside he sneered. Just a brute of a knight. I'll strip him of everything. Then, Eugene looked at him. Just a glance. Grail froze. A chill ran down his spine. His expression immediately changed. I apologize, he said quickly, correcting his posture. I was rude. My name is Grail, secretary to the deputy manager. He forced a smile. This is a great opportunity for you, Sir Eugene. Eugene spoke calmly. An opportunity? Yes, to sell your goods under better terms. What better terms? Grail began sweating. If I offended you, I deeply apologize. I meant no disrespect. He bowed slightly. I will take my leave for now. I will return another time. And then, he hurried out. The room fell silent. Pardick and the others were stunned. Wilmore, on the other hand, was nearly in tears. Sir Eugene, he said emotionally, you rejected the deputy manager's offer. For me? He straightened himself. I, Wilmore, will support you fully from now on. Whatever you need, just say the word. Eugene nodded slightly. I like the sound of that. Wilmore brightened. Then, when shall we begin? Eugene replied without hesitation. What are you talking about? We start now. Get everything ready. Somewhere in the city, Grail was bowing his head in apology before a woman, the deputy manager. I have no excuse, he admitted. The rumors were true. He's no ordinary man. The deputy manager remained calm. It's fine. Raise your head, she said. Knights often make things difficult for merchants because of their pride and honor. She smiled slightly. In that case, we simply make things difficult for them in our own way. For merchants like us, whose strength lies in money and goods, that's not hard, especially when the opponent is a poor knight without even a proper horse. She gave her order. Prepare a gift. Something too valuable for a penniless knight to refuse. Meanwhile, Felix stood before Eugene. You want me to stay here, and keep selling the byproducts? Yes, Eugene replied. You heard correctly. Felix hesitated. Is it because I'm not strong enough? If that's the case, I'll start training with the sword immediately. Eugene cut him off. What is a retainer's role? Felix answered, to support their knight, in both battle and daily life. Then support my daily life, Eugene said calmly. Sell the byproducts I bring back. Accumulate money. That is the mission I assign to you. He added, work with Wilmore. Learn everything you can about business. Felix lowered his head. He was disappointed, but he couldn't object. Without Sir Eugene, I would already be dead. Throwing a tantrum would only shame him. As Eugene left, he said to Laban, once he's saved enough, I'll consider teaching him the sword. Hearing that, Felix's expression brightened. I understand, he said firmly. I will carry out my duty. Later, Eugene and Pardick walked through the market. Money disappears fast, Eugene muttered. Even after buying only the essentials, there's nothing left. Miriam sighed beside him. Then Eugene's gaze stopped. A shining suit of armor stood on display. What's that? He asked. Plate armor, Pardick replied. Every knight's dream. Dream means expensive? More than that, Pardick said. Even wealthy knights pass armor like that down through generations. Just then Laban came running toward them. Captain. Sir Eugene. A massive roamer horde has appeared outside Marin, East Forest. They're trying to break into the city. The guild is barely holding them back. Pardick immediately turned to Eugene. We should join the subjugation. Why? Eugene asked. Laban grinned. Because roamers don't belong to dungeons, no commission fees. And this is Marin, the merchant city. The best place to sell loot at high prices with zero transport cost. In other words, a mountain of money. Eugene's expression sharpened. Let's go. Just as they were about to leave, someone rushed toward them. Wait. It was Grail. Behind him stood a magnificent black horse. The deputy manager sends this as a gift, he said. A purebred warhorse, one of the finest. Eugene narrowed his eyes. She's giving me this? Why yes. Of course, without expecting anything in return. Before he could finish, Eugene stepped forward, mounted the horse in one smooth motion and took the reins. Tell her I'm grateful. And then, he rode off instantly. Laban blinked. Captain, what do we do? Pardik smacked him. What do you mean? Run after him, idiot. The two dashed after Eugene. Grail watched them leave, stunned. In the eastern forest outside Marin, chaos reigned. Goblins and other roamers were hunting humans, pushing toward the city. Then, a black horse burst through the trees. Eugene arrived. With a single swing, he cut off a monster's head. He looked ahead calmly. He was ready. Miriam floated beside him. If we can already see roamers here, this is a large-scale outbreak. The guild members up ahead might already be dead. Eugene's eyes gleamed. Good. I don't like sharing loot. And with that, he rode straight toward the horde. Eugene rushed toward the battlefield and saw the mercenaries being overwhelmed in a one-sided slaughter. Monsters swarmed them from every direction. Amid the chaos, one knight was surrounded. His horse had been knocked down and he lay on the ground, completely helpless as the monsters closed in. Just as they lunged to finish him, a flash, Eugene appeared. His blade gleamed, cutting through the air. In a single motion, he decapitated and tore through every monster surrounding the fallen knight. Silence followed. The knight, still on the ground, stared in shock at the carnage. I owe you my life, he said, catching his breath. May I know your name, sir? Eugene looked at him calmly. Is that necessary right now? It would have been pointless if you had died. The man let out a faint laugh. You're right. Then when we return from this hell, I'll ask you again. Without another word, both of them rose and returned to the fight. Later, in the city of Marin, the same knight stood before a crowd, recounting the battle. Hordes of goblins flooded toward our great merchant city like a swarm of ants, he said. We were on the brink of collapse. He paused, then continued with intensity. But then, one knight turned the tide. He described how Eugene cut through the monsters mercilessly, carving a path through the battlefield until victory was secured. Someone from the crowd shouted, Who was that knight? The man answered in a firm voice. His name is Jan Eugene. The crowd erupted. Isn't he the same knight who conquered the dungeon? I heard he ripped a troll's spine out with his bare hands. That's the protector of Marin. Soon the entire city echoed with one name. Sir Jan Eugene. Sir Jan Eugene. Elsewhere, from above, watching the cheering crowd, stood the mayor of Marin, Louis Palin. The entire city chants his name, he said calmly. The more his fame grows, the harder he will be to control. Beside him stood his granddaughter, Priscilla, the deputy representative of the Palin Trading Company. Are you sure we should leave him as he is? He asked. Priscilla smiled slightly. On the contrary, I hope his reputation grows even more. She continued. The higher someone rises, the more devastating their fall becomes. She then revealed what she had discovered. The boy accompanying him, Felix, is the illegitimate child of the Turvin family. Louis's eyes widened. And Sir Eugene is building wealth to support him. Priscilla nodded. If we secure Eugene, we may gain influence over the future head of the Turvin family. The mayor smiled, impressed. As expected of my granddaughter. That night, Priscilla sat calmly, sipping tea. A merchant's job, she murmured, is to dig a well before the right person gets thirsty. The door opened. Eugene entered, now clad in crimson armor. She looked at him and smiled. Welcome, Marin's hero? Sir Jan Eugene. Eugene gave a slight nod. She admired him openly, his beauty, his presence, and the terrifying strength hidden beneath. That armor suits you well, she said. A masterpiece forged with elastic iron and ogre bone. Even a dragon's fang would struggle to pierce it. Eugene replied calmly. It should serve well in the next dungeon. He added, I am also grateful for your hospitality. Priscilla leaned forward slightly. In that case, would you like to hear my proposal? Eugene stood up. I'm a busy man. I'll take my leave. She froze. Leaving already? He turned slightly. After the dungeon is cleared, I may return. Or perhaps this is farewell. Priscilla's expression hardened. Wait. Eugene looked back. Her voice turned sharp. Don't play dumb, Sir Eugene. She continued. We gave you armor, a warhorse, lodging, food, far beyond what your goods were worth. Her eyes locked onto his. Everything in this world comes at a cost. She leaned forward. Or do you not care what happens when the people of Marin learn the truth about their hero? Silence filled the room. Eugene simply looked at her. Priscilla spoke in a firm, commanding tone. Are you just going to walk away after taking everything? Care to explain yourself, Sir Jan Eugene? Eugene let out a small laugh. Ridiculous. You order me around, give me gifts I never asked for, and now demand payment? And you call that business? The room fell silent. Pardik and Laban watched with faint smiles. Eugene stepped forward, his gaze cold. Let me make this clear. I already have a contract with the Palin Trading Company through Belmore. As long as that stands, I don't care what Marin says about me. He paused, then added sharply. But since you mentioned price, go ahead, spread whatever rumors you want. You'll learn the cost yourself. Priscilla stiffened. Eugene continued, voice low but cutting. From where I stand, it looks like Palin is working with Marin to pressure the very knights who protect it. If that's true, don't expect anyone to step forward next time. He turned. I've said enough. I'm leaving. He walked out, his mercenaries following. Pardik added politely. My apologies, Deputy Manager. With a different approach, this could have gone better. Priscilla stood frozen. Then, Sir Eugene, wait. He stopped. She bowed deeply. I apologize. I let my ambition cloud my judgment. Let's start over. She continued, calmer now. We'll keep your contract with Belmore. I only want to revise it, nothing harmful to you. Inwardly she thought. This night is different, too dangerous to mishandle. Eugene turned back and sat down. I'll hear it. Make it worth my time. Priscilla nodded. Thank you. Later, outside, Miriam admired him. Now this looks like a real knight. The armor, the horse, perfect. Pardik smiled. You secured an excellent deal, Sir Eugene. Palin's reach is massive, connections across the empire. Unlimited dungeon mediation is no small offer. He added, impressed. Honestly, this is better than serving a noble house. Eugene frowned. Enough. I only said what I did because she annoyed me. Armor doesn't make a knight. Suddenly, a bald man called out mockingly. Pretty face. Can you even swing a sword? Miriam snapped. Hey. Before anything escalated. Sir Eugene. Kamara approached. They greeted each other. Eugene asked directly. What's the situation? Kamara spoke with a serious expression. This time, something feels off. The mercenaries my younger brother hired, there's something wrong about them. He continued. Do you remember the group I sent to bring Felix before? They were a nasty bunch. And these new ones, they give off the same feeling. Miriam glanced at the bald mercenary, Baldy, and his eerie smile. Kamara then turned to Eugene. That's why I want you, Sir Eugene, to act as the commander of this dungeon subjugation. Before Eugene could respond, Baldy spat to the side and smirked. Lord Tevin, if that fellow dies in the dungeon, does that make me the commander? Kamara's face hardened in anger, but Baldy continued casually. It's not like we're going on a picnic. In a dungeon, lives are cheap. We should prepare for the worst, don't you think? He looked at Eugene again with that same creepy grin. Eugene stayed silent for a moment, then spoke calmly. Not a bad idea. If I die, Baldy can take my place as commander. Everyone froze. Eugene added coldly. We have our countermeasures. Let's move. Miriam fumed. You're really going along with this? Eugene replied quietly. I know this is one of Bertel's tricks. He plans to use them to kill me inside the dungeon. A faint smile appeared on his face. But watching his plan fail might be fun. Inside the dungeon, Eugene took the vanguard alone. He tore through monsters like a beast, slashing, crushing, even ripping them apart with his bare hands. Baldy watched, stunned. So the rumors weren't lies. Eugene was doing the work of 100 men by himself. The mercenaries Baldy brought were nothing in comparison. Like a living shield, no, a monster. Baldy tightened his grip on his poison-coated sword. I just need one opening, one scratch is enough. Eugene suddenly called out. Up ahead is mid-rank territory. From here on, I won't guarantee your lives. He turned slightly. Only those confident enough to survive. Follow me. Baldy and his group exchanged looks, then grinned. This is our chance. They followed. Meanwhile, Pardik stayed behind. I'll wait here. Sir Eugene has something planned. Deeper inside, Eugene walked ahead, remembering. When I came here with Sir Gal Frederick, things were smoother. He smirked faintly. He was a good leader. Then he stopped. Without turning back, he spoke. So, you finally dropped the act. Silence. Good. If you're that eager to die, I'll grant your wish. At that moment, Miriam unleashed a water spell. Whoosh. All torches went out. Darkness swallowed the cave. Voices panicked. I can't see. Relight the fire. What if we hit each other? But for Eugene, the darkness meant nothing. He moved silently. One by one. Crack. Slash. Tear. Screams echoed. Bodies fell. No one could see their killer. Only fear remained. Baldy desperately struck stones together. Clack. Clack. A spark. A small flame flickered to life. He looked around. Corpses. Everywhere. Silence. Then, footsteps behind him. A cold voice whispered, "Need some light." Baldy froze. Eugene stood behind him. Human eyes are useless in the dark. Eugene lit the flame properly. The cave illuminated, revealing the massive corpse of the spider boss Eugene had killed before. Eugene leaned closer. Now tell me, can you see clearly? His crimson eyes glowed. Who is the hunter, and who is the prey? Baldy trembled. He knew. This was the end. Eugene slowly bared his fangs. And true to his nature, he sank them into Baldy's neck.